Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Two Cents, and welcome to this movie ranking video. Um, so, I'm a big fan of the Indiana Jones series. I'm excited for the fifth movie coming out, Dial of Destiny, the end of this month. And so, I thought I would go ahead and rank the first four Indiana Jones movies um, in preparation for watching the fifth one, which I will see in theaters the first weekend it comes out. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Indiana Jones series. I always have been growing up with the ones from the 80s. I actually have the box set here for the first three, plus a bonus materials, which DVD, which is really cool. It has the making of all three with interviews and some backstory, which is really cool. I really enjoy that. But yeah, I really enjoy all four so far, the Indiana Jones movies. We'll see if the fifth one, Dial of Destiny, is actually the final one. It sounds like it is going to be the final one with Harrison Ford, which makes some sense. Um, because he is in his 80s, I believe now. So it'll be interesting to see what he's like in that fifth movie, but I'm excited for it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and rank the first four movies. As I said, I'm a big fan of this series. I grew up with the first three. I saw the fourth one in 2008 in the theater. It's actually the only Indiana Jones movies I've seen in the theater at to this point. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna try not to say too much about these movies because otherwise this video will be like 25 minutes. But I'm going to give you some pros and cons. So, coming in fourth place, probably not a surprise to most people, is going to be Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is the one I saw in theaters in 2008 when it came out. Um, I originally did not like this movie very much when I saw it in theaters. I think my expectations off the first three were probably a little bit too high. The fact that it had been almost 20 years since the last Indiana Jones movie. Um, but I've softened on it. The more I've watched it, the more I've enjoyed it, the more I've found things to like about this movie. That being said, it's still in fourth place for a reason. Um, as far as things that I like about it, I like the fact that they brought Karen Allen back as Marion, who's definitely my favorite sort of indie love interest or female sidekick to Indiana Jones. I'm glad they brought her back instead of bringing in a new love interest. I thought Kate Blanchett as Irina Spalko was good. I thought she was a good villain, very convincing. I like John Hurt in this movie as or Doctor Oxley. He's a great actor that I really like. Rest in peace. Um, it definitely has a. It feels like Indiana Jones for the most part. It's paced pretty well. It definitely has more of a sci-fi, obviously, especially in the third act. It's more of a sci-fi type of Indiana Jones movie, which isn't the worst thing in the world because, the first three movies were kind of grounded more in things going on in Earth, and this one kind of goes beyond to the outer limits, if you will, the universe and stuff, and so it has that sci-fi alien feel to it, which was kind of weird at the end, but overall, I like this movie. I really do. Some things I don't like are that I'm mixed. I'm mixed on Shia LaBeouf as Mutt in this movie. Um, he's not the worst part of the movie. He's just kind of whatever for me. He's fine. Sorry about the lighting too, guys, by the way. I'm getting sunlight shooting in here right at the moment. But yeah, I could take or leave Shia LaBeouf. I know he's not going to be in the fifth movie, but I thought he was okay in this movie. One of my favorite sequences of the movie was when him and Indiana Jones were riding around on his motorbike through the library and through the university. I thought that was a really fun sequence. Um, my biggest problem with this movie is the CGI, and especially at the beginning of the movie. Um, the nuclear blast, the fact that Indy survives it. It's a lot of the same problems most people have with this movie. The CGI with the ants later in the movie, just too much CGI that doesn't hold up well. And then the third act of this movie, again, um, it's a little weird for me with the aliens aspects of it. But overall, I still can have a really good time with this movie. It's fun. I like it. Karen Allen being back, Kate Blanchett is the villain, and of course Harrison Ford in rare form as Indiana Jones is very good in this movie. There's some good humor in it. Not my favorite humor of the series, but yeah, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, good action movie, good adventure movie. But it is my fourth. It is fourth in my ranking here. Coming in third is going to be Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1984. This is one of the movies, obviously, that I grew up with. Definitely the darkest movie of the whole franchise. That being said, though, it still has some fun, cool action sequences, especially at the beginning of the movie with the car chase through Shanghai where we meet Short Round. I really enjoyed that sequence to them getting on the plane. That was fun. I love the mine car chase towards the end of the movie where they're getting out of the Temple of Doom, and then the whole bridge sequence at the very end of the movie with the final conflict and everything. All that stuff was great. It really worked for me. Um, a lot of this movie does take place more underground within the palace and underneath the palace and the temple, which is okay, but it doesn't quite have that same. And the reason I have it third is basically because of that reason. It doesn't feel quite as epic, quite as it doesn't quite have that Indiana Jones spirit that the movies that are higher on this list have for me. It's a little bit like Jurassic Park 3 in that series, where it doesn't feel quite as epic, although this is a better movie than Jurassic Park 3. Don't get me wrong with that comparison, but I do really love this movie. I think Harrison Ford is great in it. I like Short Round as a sidekick character. There's really good banter between them, a lot of humor. Um, Amrish Puri, who plays Mola Ram, is really good in this movie. A very good and convincing villain. Very scary stuff going on with hearts being ripped out and more practical effects, obviously, with this movie as well as the other two that I'm going to get to here. I'm not a big fan of Kate Capshaw's character. I think I like Kate Capshaw. I don't think her character of Willie is definitely it's definitely my least favorite of the final, not final girls. This isn't horror. My least favorite of the Indiana Jones love interests and sidekick female characters. She's my least favorite because all she does is scream and whine the whole movie, and there's just really not much to her character. She's sort of the quintessential damsel in distress, and yeah, she just doesn't. That's one of my least favorite parts of this movie. But really, why I have to have it third is, as I was saying before, it just doesn't have that that epic feel, that Indiana Jones spirit feel, that across the globe kind of feel. This is the one movie that we don't see him at his university as a professor either. He's basically sort of rushed into this storyline, which is okay, I guess. But I did kind of miss that, not having Marcus in this movie, not having Sala in this movie. It's kind of its own thing. This movie's really its own thing, and for being its own thing, I think it works well. So I do really like this movie. If I was giving a ranking or a rating, I should say. This one gets a 7 out of 10. This one gets an 8 out of 10. It's my third favorite. Getting on to my runner up and second favorite, and these top two were very difficult. This is an 8.5 out of 10 for me, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, as they changed it to down the road. What can you say about this movie? It's one of the great action adventure movies of all time for good reason. Its pacing is superb. Its directing is superb. The performances are really good, especially by Harrison Ford. Um, Karen Allen as Marion, Renee Balak as Paul Freeman is awesome, or Paul Freeman, I should say, is Balak, and also Ronald Lacey as Major Arnold Tote is very good. You got great villains in this movie. They're kind of two villains there, but Paul Freeman as Belloc is the biggest villain in this movie. Everything is I can't find any damn problems with this movie. I really can't. The only reason it's not number one is because my number one movie has an extra added element that just barely puts it ahead of this movie. But I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. I can watch this. I mean, it's one of the most iconic movies of all time with the beginning sequence and the big boulder that's rolling down. Everybody knows that sequence. I love him. I love his escape into the plane, and then the humor with the snake and Jack flying the plane, and then he goes back to the university, and we're introduced to Marcus, played by Denham. What's his name? Shoot, I knew I should have wrote it down. You know who plays Marcus? Um, Delham Hoyt. No, it's not Hoyt. I forget, but you guys know. Look it up. Yeah, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. One of the very best movies of all time in terms of adventure action movie. I love everything having to do with the Ark of the Covenant and how they get there. The snake pit. I could go on, but I'm not going to. It's almost a damn near flawless movie. I'm not sure why I'm giving it an 8.5. I should give it more like a 9.5 out of 10. As I will my number one, which, if you don't know by now, my favorite Indiana Jones movie of all time is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade from 1989. This is damn near a 10 out of 10 Indiana Jones movie. Man, I love this movie. Going after the Holy Grail and everything leading up to it. But the reason this is number one for me is right here. The fact that we're introduced to Indiana Jones's father, played iconically by Sean Connery. I mean, they couldn't have picked a better father for Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. The dialogue and the chemistry with these two is second to none. Second to none. I could watch these two read a newspaper to each other. That's how much I love them. And that's really why this goes above Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was missing in Raiders. I'm not saying Raiders needed him, but this is what moves this just slightly above Raiders. It's just the chemistry and having these two together. Otherwise, you have the same epic action sequences. You have the same chase for a sort of a Christian, iconic artifact. The Lost. It was the Ark in the first movie. It's the Holy Grail in this movie. I really like Elsa, played by Alison Doody. She's my second favorite female sidekick slash love interest. Just behind Karen Allen, and not that far behind either. What I like about her character is she's got the most depth. I mean, she's got the most. You're not really sure about her character. There's a lot. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, there's a lot of ambiguity to her character, where we kind of think we know what she is when we first meet her, and then we kind of think we know what she is after that. When there's a twist that happens, and then she kind of, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I just love her character. Julian Glover as Walter Donovan is a great, great villain. Um, Probably my favorite villain. It's between him and Belloc, frankly. Um, yeah, just a great villain. Also, I didn't write his name down, the actor, but the guy that plays the German sergeant, or that have a big fight with Indiana Jones on the tank. He's good in this movie. Marcus and Saul are back in this movie. Again, this movie after Temple of Doom kind of returns to the epic scope of Indiana Jones, the spirit of Indiana Jones, and the Saturday morning serials, and just sort of that epic travel across the globe Indiana Jones feel. This one has it. This isn't only my favorite Indiana Jones movie, it actually is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time in any genre. And these two have a lot to do with it, but also the story, the action sequences, Allison Doody, just everybody involved in it. It's well directed by Steven Spielberg, well written by George Lucas. I mean, I could go on. Like I said, these top two movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, are damn near flawless movies. And I just love them, even beyond this series. So yeah, that's what I got for you in terms of my ranking, guys. I'd be interested to hear your rankings down below. If it's like mine, if it's not like mine, comment down below what your ranking of the first four Indiana Jones movies would be. Also, comment if you're going to go see the fifth Indiana Jones movie in theaters when it comes out the end of this month. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I'm really going to try to build up this channel. Also, check out Brian's Horror Corner, which is also another channel I have on YouTube. All things related to horror movies, books, content, things like that. But I'm going to build this channel up with sports, politics, and non-horror related movies. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and share this video. I hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for watching my video. Yeah, take care. That's just Brian's 2 cents.